Everyone knew the stories. Earth's ships, bright silver and strong as mountains, floated across the stars, keeping peace where others failed. They were untouchable, mysterious, and powerful like old legends come to life. But this story is not about fleets or battles. It begins with a girl named Lyra, who lived on a quiet moon far from Earth. Lyra was not a soldier, nor a scientist. She worked in a little library in the city of, where she helped people find stories and learned about distant worlds. But her heart always belonged to her best friend, who had moved to Earth 2 years ago. When left, Lyra felt as though a piece of her had gone missing. They had grown up together, exploring the moon's forests, laughing and dreaming of the wider galaxy. Was brave and curious. She wanted to see Earth's wonders, to learn about its people and its fleet. Lyra had been proud, but also afraid. What if forgot her? What if the distance between them grew too wide? For a while, sent messages every week. She described the shining towers of Earth's cities, the blue oceans, and that slept in their great docks. But as the months passed, the messages grew shorter, and then stopped altogether. Lyra waited. She told herself was busy, that she would write again. But doubt crept in like a slow, cold fog. One evening, as the twin suns set, Lyra sat alone. In the library, watching the shadows stretch across the shelves. She missed. The ache felt deeper than space itself. She wanted to reach out, to reconnect, but she didn't know how. What could she say? What if had moved on? Lyra remembered the stories of Earth's fleet, their one rule, their pride, their secrets. She wondered if it changed, if she had become distant, like those ships that never let anyone close. Lyra felt small and powerless, as though she could never cross the gulf between them. Yet something inside her refused to give up. Humanity, she thought, was all about hope. Even when things seemed impossible, people found ways to reach each other. She looked at the old communicator on her desk, covered in dust. She could try again. Maybe was waiting too. That night, Lyra wrote a message. Her fingers trembled as she typed, "I miss you. I hope you're okay. Things here are quiet. The forests are green again, and I planted the flower seeds you sent me. They're growing well. I think about our adventures every day. I wish we could talk again, even just once. Your friend always, Lyra." She sent the message, not expecting an answer. But for the first time in months, her heart felt lighter. She had reached out, broken the silence. Days passed. Lyra went to work, helped visitors, and tried to keep busy. Every evening, she checked the communicator. Nothing. Yet she refused to let despair take over. She read stories of humans overcoming impossible odds, of explorers who crossed galaxies, of friends who found each other across time and space. That was the spirit of Earth, she thought. That was the hope she needed. One afternoon, a group arrived at the library. They wore strange uniforms, blue and silver, with the symbol of Earth's fleet on their sleeves. Lyra's heart skipped. She had never seen fleet members before. They were polite, but distant, like the stories said. They looked through old records and spoke quietly among themselves. As Lyra helped them, she thought of, was she like them now? Strong, proud, and closed off? Or was she still the friend who laughed in the moonlight and dreamed of stars? When the fleet members finished, one of them lingered behind. She was tall, with kind eyes. She smiled at Lyra and hesitated before speaking. "Thank you for your help," she said softly. "It's rare to find someone who cares about stories." Lyra smiled back, feeling a strange warmth. "Stories are all I have, sometimes. They help me feel less alone." The fleet officer nodded. She glanced at Lyra's communicator, then at Lyra herself. "Sometimes reaching out is the hardest thing, but it's worth it." Lyra felt a spark of hope. She nodded, feeling understood. Night As she prepared to close the library, her communicator beeped. Lyra stared at it, hardly daring to breathe. Lyra, I'm so sorry for not writing. Things on Earth have been busy, and I was afraid you'd moved on. But I think about you every day. I miss you so much. The fleet is strict, but not even their rules can stop me from remembering our friendship. Thank you for reaching out. Can we talk soon? Your friend. Always. Lyra read the message again and again, tears of relief and happiness filling her eyes. The distance between them melted away in that moment. She that even behind the strongest rules, the strongest fleets, and the greatest distances, there was still hope. People could reconnect if they tried. The next day, Lyra replied, and soon she and were talking again about old memories, new dreams, and the hope that carried them both. Lyra learned Fat had joined Earth's fleet to help others find their way, just as Lyra helped people in her library. They were different now, but still friends. And so, from a quiet moon to the heart of Earth's fleet, Lyra discovered the truth behind the rule. Never tamper with Earth's fleet, not because of their power, but because of the bonds they protected. The cost of distance was high, but hope was higher. In the end, they paid it and found each other again. Lyra sat at her desk in the library, looking out the window at the purple sky of her home moon. The message from was still fresh in her mind. For weeks they had talked again, sharing news and dreams until late in the night. Lyra felt closer to than ever, but something was different. Was busy with their duties in Earth's fleet, and sometimes she sounded tired or worried. One day wrote, I wish you could see what I see. Lyra, the fleet is amazing, but sometimes it feels lonely. I miss the way things used to be. Lyra understood. She missed the old days too. She wanted to help, to make her feel less alone. But she did not know how. Earth was far away, and the fleet was famous for its rules. No one just visited there. Lyra felt sad. She wanted to reconnect in a real way, not just through messages. At the library, Lyra read stories about people who did impossible things. She read about explorers who crossed space to find their loved ones, and about friends who built bridges between worlds. Each story made her heart stronger. She wondered, could she do something brave could she find a way to visit her friend, even if it was difficult? That night, Lyra could not sleep. She looked at the moon's forests, thinking of the time she ran through the trees. She remembered Eslaf, bright as starlight. Lyra decided she would try to see, no matter how hard it was. Humanity, after all, was known for never giving up. The next morning, Lyra made a plan. She started by sending a message asking about her life in the fleet. Is there any way I could visit you? She wrote. Replied quickly, but her answer was sad. The fleet has rules, Lyra. Visitors are not allowed on the ships. It's for everyone's safety. I wish it was different. Lyra felt discouraged, but she did not give up. She wanted to understand why the rules were so strict. She began to study everything she could about Earth's fleet. She read old history books, watched interviews, and spoke to who had seen the great ships from afar. One day, Lyra met an old star pilot who had delivered supplies to the fleet years ago. Told her, Earth's fleet keeps its secrets close. They pay a high price for their peace. But sometimes rules can be bent for the right reason. Lyra listened carefully. She asked, did anyone ever visit the fleet, even once? Smiled mysteriously. Not often, but sometimes if you have a strong reason and a good heart, people will help. Lyra's hope grew. She thought about all the stories. She loved stories of courage, kindness, and hope. She realized that maybe, if she showed how much she cared, someone would listen. She wrote a long letter explaining her feelings. To how much their friendship meant to her, and how she wanted to help feel less replied, "Lyra, you always inspire me. I will ask my captain if there's a way you can visit, even just for a short time. I can't promise anything, but I will try, because you are my friend." Days passed. Lyra waited, feeling nervous but hopeful. She kept working in the library, helping others find their own stories of hope. She talked to children about the power of friendship and the importance of never giving up. Finally, a message came from Lyra. "I have good news. My captain is strict, but she listened to my story. She said you can visit, but only for a few hours and with special permission. It's a big risk for both of us, but I want to see you." Lyra could hardly believe it. She smiled so wide her cheeks hurt. She thanked Aya and the captain, promising to follow every rule. She packed a small bag with gifts from her moon, a book of stories, a flower from the forest, and a photo of her and A as children. The day of her journey, Lyra felt excited and a little scared. She took a shuttle to Earth, then another to the fleet's grate. The ships were even more beautiful, close shining with silver and blue lights, strong and silent. Lyra wore her best clothes and carried her gifts carefully. She followed the directions center, passing through security and meeting officers who looked at her with curious eyes. She remembered S-words. Sometimes rules could be bent if your heart was true. Finally, Lyra stepped onto the deck of ship. It was huge and bright, with windows looking out at the stars. Aya was waiting for her, smiling and waving. Lyra returned to her home moon with a heart full of warmth from her visit with Aya. The necklace Aya had given her sparkled in the light, a constant reminder of their friendship and the bravery it took to reconnect. Yet, as days turned into weeks, Lyra felt a familiar sadness creeping back into her heart. Aya was still far away, busy with her duties in the Earth fleet. They talked often, but the distance still felt heavy dot in her quiet library. Lyra spent her days helping others find stories of adventure and courage, but she couldn't help feeling lonely. She missed the laughter they shared, the late-night talks about their dreams, and the sense of belonging that came from being together. She wanted to do more than just talk. She wanted to help Aya feel loved and supported, even from afar. Evening, as Lyra prepared to close the library, she spotted the old star pilot, Joran, sitting at one of the tables. He was reading a book, and when he noticed Lyra, he smiled and waved her over. "Hello, Lyra. How are you?" he asked. "I'm okay," she replied, trying to sound cheerful. "I visited Aya in the fleet, and it was amazing, but I still feel distant from her." Joran nodded, understanding in his eyes. Distance can be tough, especially when you care about someone. "Have you thought about what you can do to support her while she's away?" Lyra thought for a moment. "I want to help her feel less lonely, but I don't know how. She's so busy with her work, and I'm just here. Sometimes the best way to show you care is to be creative," Joran suggested. "Why not send her something special? Something that reminds her of home?" Lyra's eyes lit up. "That's a great idea. But what could I send?" "Think about your memories together. Maybe you could create something that shows your friendship," Joran encouraged. Inspired, Lyra decided to make a scrapbook filled with their shared memories. She gathered photos, pressed flowers from the forests, and little notes about their adventures. Each page would tell a story of their friendship, a reminder that no matter the distance, they were still connected. Over the next few days, Lyra worked tirelessly on the scrapbook. She spent hours selecting the best photos, writing captions, and arranging everything beautifully. She even included a small map of their moon, marking all the places they had explored together. With each page, she felt lighter, as if she were weaving their friendship back together, thread by thread. When the scrapbook was finally complete, Lyra felt a rush of excitement. She couldn't wait to send it to Aya. she hoped it would bring her friend joy and remind her that she was never truly alone. Lyra carefully packaged the scrapbook and included a heartfelt letter. In it, she wrote about her feelings, how much she missed Aya, and how proud she was of everything Aya was doing in the fleet. "You are brave and strong, and I believe in you," she wrote. "No matter how far apart we are, our friendship will always be with us." With a deep breath, Lyra sent the package off, hoping it would reach Aya soon. She felt nervous but hopeful, knowing she had done something meaningful. Days passed. Lyra returned to her routine, helping visitors in the library and reading stories of courage and adventure. But she found it hard to concentrate. She checked her communicator constantly, waiting for a reply. Finally, one morning, a message arrived from Aya. Lyra's heart raced as she opened it. "Lyra, I received your package. I can't believe you made this amazing scrapbook. It brought tears to my eyes. You captured so many memories I cherish. Thank you for reminding me of home. I miss you so much." Lyra's heart soared. She felt the warmth of Aya's words wrapping around her like a hug. Aya continued, "Things in the fleet are hard sometimes. We face challenges every day, but knowing you're out there cheering for me gives me strength. I want to be there for you too. Let's plan a time to talk soon." With each word, Lyra felt the distance between them shrinking. Aya's response made her realize that even though they were separated by vast distances, their friendship was resilient. They were still connected, and their support for each other was powerful. Lyra decided to take it a step further. She wanted to help Aya in a way that went beyond messages and gifts. Inspired by Aya's bravery, Lyra thought about how she could also be brave. She wanted to understand more about the fleet and the challenges Aya faced. Maybe she could even find a way to support her friend from a distance. That night, Lyra began researching the Earth Fleet's missions, their goals, and the work they did. She learned about the fleet's purpose: exploring new worlds, helping distant colonies, and protecting those in need. With every article she read, her admiration for Aya grew. She realized that Aya was part of something much bigger, a mission that involved teamwork, courage, and determination. Lyra decided she wanted to contribute in her own way. After some thought, she came up with an idea. She would start a project in her community to raise awareness about the fleet's work and the importance of friendship and support. She would organize events that brought people together to share stories, just as she and Aya had done. The next day, Lyra reached out to friends and neighbors, explaining her idea. People were excited and eager to help. They discussed organizing community fairs, story nights, and even art projects inspired by the fleet's mission. Lyra felt a spark of joy as she watched everyone come together, united by a common purpose. As the project grew, Lyra felt more connected to Aya, even from afar. They shared ideas and updates through messages, and Lyra felt proud to be part of something that could help others. She knew that Aya would be proud of her too. Finally, the day of the first community event arrived. Lyra stood in the town square, surrounded by friends and neighbors. They set up booths filled with stories, art, and messages of support for the fleet. Lyra felt a rush of excitement as she spoke to everyone about the importance of friendship and hope. That evening, as the sun set and the stars began to twinkle, Lyra looked up at the sky. She imagined Aya looking at the same stars from her ship, feeling connected despite the distance. Lyra smiled, knowing that they were both part of something bigger, a friendship that could withstand any challenge. As she watched the community come together, Lyra that even when people are far apart, their bonds can remain strong. With courage and hope, they could overcome anything. And so, Lyra learned that the distance between her and didn't have to mean separation. With creativity, support, and love, they could always find a way back to each other, no matter how. Far the stars stretched. Lyra's little community project was growing. Every week, more people came to listen to stories and share messages for the fleet. Lyra was proud, but her heart still missed Aya deeply. She wondered what life was like for Aya right now, inside one of Earth's most important ships. She wished she could really understand Aya's world. One rainy afternoon, Lyra sat at her desk in the library, her hands folded around the fleet necklace from Aya. She remembered Aya's last message. Life here is busy. Lyra, sometimes it feels like the rules and missions are all there is. But your scrapbook made me remember who I am. Thank you for that. I wish you could see things from my side, just for a day. Lyra looked out the window, feeling the old sadness return. She wanted to help Aya more. She wanted to reach out in a way that really mattered. But she didn't know how. She wrote back, Aya, if I could visit you again, I would. I wish there was a way to be there for you when things get hard. That night, as Lyra was closing the library, a message arrived on her communicator. It was from an unknown fleet address. Lyra, this is Captain Sora of the Earth Fleet. Aya spoke to me about your friendship. I can't break fleet rules, but I believe in the power of hope and connection. We're inviting you to join a virtual fleet day just for a few hours. You will meet the ship's AI, Athena, and see what Aya sees. Will you accept? Lyra sat in shock for a moment, her heart pounding with excitement. She quickly typed her answer. Yes, thank you so much. The next morning, Lyra woke up early and made sure her communicator was charged. As the clock struck the right hour, her screen flickered to life. The view changed, and suddenly she was looking through the ship's cameras, seeing the great halls and shining engines of Aya's fleet home. A calm, gentle voice spoke. Welcome, Lyra. I am Athena, the ship's AI. Aya speaks about you often. Today, we want to show you the heart of the fleet. Lyra's eyes widened as she explored the ship's virtual corridors. She saw crew members working together, scientists studying new worlds, and engineers fixing the mighty engines. Athena explained everything kindly, pointing out how every person's job mattered. Aya's role is important, Athena said, but so is her spirit. She brings hope and friendship to the crew. Lyra smiled, feeling proud of Aya, but she also felt even more distant, seeing how large and complicated Aya's world was compared to her own. Athena seemed to sense her feelings. Human connections are what keep the fleet strong, the AI said. Sometimes rules keep people apart, but hope brings them together again. As the virtual tour continued, Lyra was allowed to speak with Aya in real time. Aya's face lit up the screen, her eyes shining with happiness. Lyra, can you see everything? Isn't it amazing? Aya asked. It's incredible, Lyra said, fighting back tears. I understand a little more now. Your life is so big, but you're still the same Aya I know. Aya nodded. And you're still the Lyra who makes every ordinary day special. For a while, they talked about everything: the ship, their dreams, the future. Lyra listened as Aya shared her. Lyra felt a renewed sense of purpose as she watched her community come together for the Stories of the Stars project. Letters and memories began to fill the shelves of the library, each one a testament to the bonds people shared, even across great distances. She felt proud to be part of something that celebrated hope and connection. As the weeks passed, Lyra kept in touch with Aya. Their messages became a lifeline, keeping their friendship strong. Aya shared stories about her work in the fleet, the challenges they faced, and the friendships she was building among the crew. Lyra shared stories from home about the events at the library and how people were connecting through their shared experiences. One evening, Lyra received a message from Aya that made her heart race. Lyra, I have an opportunity to share a presentation about friendship and support at our next fleet meeting. I want to include you in it. Can you help me prepare? Lyra couldn't believe it. This was a chance to show the fleet how important friendships were, especially in tough times. She quickly replied, "Of course, I'd love to help." They decided to hold a video call to brainstorm ideas. When Lyra saw Aya's face on the screen, she felt a rush of joy. Aya looked strong and confident, but Lyra could see a hint of nervousness in her eyes. "Lyra, this is a big deal for me," Aya admitted. "I want to show everyone that even in the fleet, we need to remember our roots, who we are, and where we come from." "I believe in you, Aya," Lyra said, smiling. "Let's create something that shows how our friendship has helped us both." They spent hours planning, sharing ideas, and laughing together. Lyra suggested they include stories from the Stories of the Stars project. "We can show the fleet how these connections matter to everyone," she said, "not just to us." Aye agreed, excited by the idea. "Let's gather some of the letters and highlight them in our presentation. We can read them aloud and show how important it is to reach out." As they worked, Lyra felt a sense of belonging. She realized that even though Aya was far away, they were still connected by their shared dreams and the lessons they had learned from each other. The distance didn't have to mean separation. It could be a bridge to greater understanding. The day of the presentation arrived. Lyra waited anxiously in her library, her heart racing as she prepared to join the call. Aya was already in the fleet's conference room, surrounded by her fellow officers and crew members. Lyra could see the ship's bright walls and the busy atmosphere behind Aya. "Are you ready?" Aya asked, her voice steady but excited. "I am," Lyra replied, feeling a rush of courage. Together, they began the presentation. Aya spoke first, sharing her journey in the fleet. She talked about the challenges she faced and how important it was to have friends like Lyra to lean on. Lyra felt proud as she listened to Aya share their story, emphasizing how friendship helped her stay grounded in a world that often felt overwhelming. Then it was Lyra's turn. She took a deep breath and began to read selected letters from the Stories of the Stars project. Each letter told a story of love and connection, of friends and family who supported each other despite the distance. Lyra could see the crew, listening intently, nodding their heads in understanding. "Every letter is a reminder that we are never truly alone," Lyra said, her voice strong. "Whether we are here on our moon or out among the stars, our connections make us who we are. They give us strength, hope, and courage." As she finished, Lyra looked at Aya, who was beaming with pride. The crew began to clap and cheer, and Lyra felt a wave of happiness wash over her. They had shared something important, something that resonated deeply with everyone. After the presentation, Aya introduced Lyra to the crew. "This is my best friend, Lyra. She helped make this possible. Her spirit and creativity remind me to stay connected, no matter where I am." Lyra felt a rush of warmth at Aya's words. She realized that this moment was more than just a presentation. It was a celebration of their friendship and the connections that held people together. Even across galaxies. Later, they received a message from Captain Sora. "Lyra and Aya, your presentation was inspiring. You reminded us all of the importance of friendship and support. In the fleet, we often forget to take a moment to connect with each other. Thank you for that." Lyra's heart soared. She had contributed to something bigger than herself, something that would help others feel less alone. She thought about how far she and Aya had come since they were just two girls exploring their moon, dreaming of the stars. As the call ended, Aya looked at Lyra with tears in her eyes. "Thank you for believing in me and in us. You've shown me that even when things get tough, we can always find a way to reconnect." Lyra smiled back, feeling a sense of fulfillment. "And you've shown me that friendship can reach across any distance, even into the heart of the fleet." Their friendship had passed through challenges and distance, but it had only grown stronger. They had learned that the true cost of distance was not just sadness, but also the opportunity for growth and understanding. In that moment, Lyra understood the lesson of the fleet. Rules may keep people apart, but hope, love, and friendship would always find a way to bring them back together. As she looked out at the stars that night, she felt a deep connection to Aya and to everyone who shared their stories. Lyra knew that no matter where life took them, they would always be connected by the bonds they created. And with that, she felt ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead, knowing that hope and friendship were the greatest forces in the universe. Lyra felt a wave of joy after the successful presentation with Aya and the fleet. Their friendship had proven to be a source of strength, not just for them, but for everyone around them. However, as the days turned into weeks, Lyra sensed a change in Aya's messages. They became shorter, and Lyra could feel a weight in Aya's words. It worried her. One evening, Lyra sat at her desk in the library, staring at the communicator. The silence felt heavy. She missed Aya's laughter and the long conversations they used to have. She decided to send a message. "Aya, I've noticed. You seem a bit stressed lately. Is everything okay?" She waited anxiously for a reply. When it finally came, it was filled with mixed emotions. "Lyra, I'm okay, but things are tough here. The fleet is under a lot of pressure. We have missions that require us to make difficult choices, and sometimes I feel lost in it all." Lyra's heart sank. She could sense the struggle in Aya's words. She wanted to reach out, to comfort her friend, but what could she say? The distance felt vast once again. "I'm here for you, Aya. You can talk to me about anything." A moment later, Aya replied, "Thank you, Lyra. I really appreciate that. I just wish I could be home, where everything feels safe and familiar. Sometimes it feels like I'm just a part of a machine here." Lyra understood. She remembered her own feelings of loneliness when Aya first moved away. She wanted to help Aya feel connected again, to remind her of the strength they shared. But how could she do that from so far away? The next day, Lyra visited the library and looked at all the letters in the Stories of the Stars section. Each letter was a reminder of the power of connection, and she realized she needed to act. She decided to organize a special event to honor Aya and the fleet, a night of friendship. It would be a celebration of connections, filled with stories, laughter, and hope. Lyra spent the next few days preparing. She invited everyone from her community, asking them to bring their own stories of friendship and support. She even included a section dedicated to Aya, sharing the story of their friendship and how it had inspired others. When the night of the event arrived, the library was filled with people. Lyra felt nervous but excited. She decorated the space with stars and lights, creating a warm atmosphere. As people arrived, she welcomed them with open arms. "Thank you all for coming," Lyra said, standing in front of the crowd. "Tonight, we are here to celebrate the friendships that make us strong, even when we are apart. We will share stories, laughter, and reminders of hope." As the evening progressed, people shared their own letters and stories. Lyra felt the warmth of the community surrounding her. She could see smiles, hear laughter, and feel the power of connection filling the room. It reminded her of the joy she felt when she was with Aya. Then it was time for Lyra to share her special tribute to Aya. She stood in front of everyone, holding the scrapbook they had created together. "This book holds the stories of my friendship with Aya, who is far away in the Earth fleet. She has shown me that even when things get tough, friendship can light the way." As Lyra flipped through the pages, she read aloud some of their favorite memories and shared the letters from the Stories of the Stars project. Everyone listened closely, captivated by the power of their connection. Lyra could see tears in some eyes, and she felt a wave of emotion wash over her. Afterward, Lyra invited everyone to write their own messages to the fleet. Let's show our support for Aya and the brave people in the fleet. Let's remind them that they are not alone, she said. The room buzzed with energy as people wrote heartfelt messages of encouragement, hope, and love. Later that night, Lyra felt a sense of accomplishment. The event had brought everyone together, and she hoped it would reach Aya too. She gathered all the letters and messages, carefully packaging them to send to the fleet, along with a personal note. Aya, tonight we celebrated you and the strength of friendship. You are not just a part of